them to remember me more than they remember you, who gave them the money to buy the house, and the realtor who helped them find the house. I want to be the person who gives them that memorable, remarkable customer experience. Generally, I live up to that, and that's how we build a client for life. Once
So
we,
check this out. Like there's people I do mortgage for, they don't even know who their mortgage company is. That's what I'm seeing from you. It's like, I don't even know what mortgage company I went with. I just trusted him and I went and it worked out really well. They remember your name even before the company.
yes,
And that is, I want to create that for everyone in the community. Everybody come on here and there's so many people I'm excited to come on here and who are calling.
well, we have people in our like in our inbox that are going to be heavy hitters coming in to talk. I mean, I've
Yes.
got one buddy of mine. He's a podcast juggernaut in Baltimore. When we talk about dropping gems and hustling, he went from fidget spinners to a complete and total conglomerate that he has between lending and different things that he does. A beast in the space
I
of
think I sold $1 million in fidget
I
spinners.
think it was more. I don't even know the exact amount. It is a lot. I actually tried to
Think
do.
about this stuff.
No, he was great. He had the connections. He knew how to get the plug for the fidget spinners, and he went to the convenience stores to sell them.
The fidget spinner plug.
He is that guy. Shaheen is the man. FYI, shout out to Shaheen. But I mean, we got people like we have local businesses that have just generally embraced what we're trying to accomplish. And then having them come on and talk about everything that they're doing. I got a buddy of mine that owns a local seasoning company. You might not have heard of them. I season everything with them, FYI, and I'm not sponsored by them, FYI, out there in the world. Great seasonings, but just a great, wholesome guy and does so many great things for the community. Let's just take away the fact that he's a great seasoning chef and let's embrace the fact that he does so many things and celebrate the things that he does for the community. And that's what I want to bring.
Oh yeah. Why do you live in at the beach?
I fell here. It was an accident. I was where were we? In Salisbury, and we had a house that was relatively attractive on the marketplace. We had a nice in-ground pool and stuff like that, and the market was really, really crazy. In 12 months, we sold two houses for $1.8 million without a realtor or anything like that. Well, that's not true. Child Movers did help me for one of the houses, but um, it was the right market. So then we had all this money and we were able to come here and live poorly, if that makes sense. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
everybody and their mother is living here. I will never live here. The school's awesome. Just every part of my life living in Rehoboth is just happy. I've never been more happy living here. And I wanted to share a wild story about how I got this house.
Okay. Yes, do it.
I think I might have shared a little bit of it with you, but back during COVID, I was living in Dover, and the dream is always to either move to the beach or have a beach house. Here we are in my beach house now, where I live permanently. But so it was always an idea. It's like, oh, do I want to take on two mortgages? You know, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I was just really leaning towards doing it, but something happened that really moved the needle to me buying this house. And so COVID hit the market. Remember when the market just absolutely tanked? Like everyone was losing so much. So I had this old IRA from when I got laid off at Capital One back in 2017. It was sitting there. And it had like 30 grand in it, right? It was just in cash and I just had it. Didn't know what I was going to do with it. It was sitting there dormant. But when all those stocks and everything went down, I was like, all right, it's time to take some risk. And it was kind of irresponsible what I did because I should have like diversified this money.
Yeah.
But I spent the whole day looking which company got its ass kicked the most. I found this company to park the money in. It was called Inner Workings. The ticker I'll never forget was INWK. And I said, I'm putting every penny of this, I think it was 33,000 in a dormant IRA. I'm putting it, turned it to self-directed, put it in there. And I'm just going to park it here and see what happens with the market because the company was doing unbelievable. They have no supply chain. They're an online marketing company. So it's not like they were affected much by COVID, but everybody was just dumping everything. So the stock went from $6 down to $1. And or like $1.30. I bought all of it, everything I could, every penny. And I'm like, I'm going to park it here and wait. 8 days later, I was getting ready from work because I was working at my home office. And the bid and the ask went to zero because I was looking at the cost. And that's bad. Like something's up.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes.
it said, stock is halted. So 15 minutes of pacing and agony in my house, in my home office by myself, just waiting to see what's going on. And then 15 minutes later, headlines, it says Inner Workings acquired for $3 a share.
No way.
So I couldn't believe it. I'm screaming. think about that. It was $1.30 to $3. I made like $55,000 in 8 days.
I like it.
So I sold it. I'm freaking out. I can't really tell anybody this happened. I'm just, because everybody, COVID's happening. I'm not going to be like, guess what? This worked out. So that moved the needle on buying this house. I was like, I'm comfortable now. I got so lucky, just took such a big risk. If you know me, I very much like risk. And I ended up buying this house as a result of that, which ended up being an even better investment. This house is the best thing I've ever done. Living here at the beach. It's why I'm here. That just luck. And so I'm just so thankful and grateful every day to be here. That's my story of why I have this house.
Yeah.
And I know people out there I've talked to have stories like that, just success stories. And I want to hear all of that. That's what everybody wants to hear. They want to hear just the craziest things that have happened to you, the luck you've had, big wins and big goals, what you plan to do. That's the point of this channel.
And one of the things too, I just want to go back and touch on, it wasn't necessarily luck what you did. So you actually did what you should do when you invest in a stock like that. You did the research, you understood the risk that was involved with it. And then there was pot luck that happened that just at that extreme moment in time that God aligned everything and then the stock was worth XYZ bought, et cetera. But in general, most of the time people, they go into investments in an emotional tie. So they're like, oh, I love Nike. I wear Nike shoes. I'm going to buy Nike stocks. That is probably the most asinine investment strategy you can ever have in the stock market. But I'm glad that you had that luck, because if you hadn't had that luck, we would have never met each other.
That's right.
If we never met each other, we wouldn't be sitting here right now today, which is super cool.
It's a butterfly effect. There are so many little decisions you make in life that impact everything.
Yes.
I look for those and I look back on things and I'm like, man, if this didn't happen, my whole life would be different. Even the job I have. I mean, in college, my roommate, his name was Brian. I was looking for a roommate sophomore year. I walk in, I was gonna get a single, just live by myself. But they were like, we don't have any. Just so happened this kid's sitting there in the same boat. And he's like, dude, I know we don't know each other. We ended up becoming best of friends just from walking to this office at the same time. Ended up being in this industry because of knowing him.
Yeah.
Moved to New Jersey because of him. If I would have walked 15 minutes later to the office that day at college, who knows what my life would look like.
You said an important point. You moved to New Jersey. If you moved to New Jersey, instantaneously it had to be a great opportunity because, I'm not going to go any further in that comment, but
I lived in an $800 a month apartment by myself to start this career. I went for it. Sometimes you just have to go for it in life. And if it didn't work out, I'm stuck in New Jersey on a lease for a year by myself in a place that nobody wants to live. So it had to work.
That'd make you a grinder.
There's no backup plan. Just like with this podcast, we just decided we're going to do it. We're going to keep getting better. The lighting's not good. We're figuring out the mics, but we're just going to keep doing it until it becomes successful. That's the goal.
One of the things I've learned in life is that this game of success generally is it actually is a duplication process. So you see someone who's successful and then you emulate what they're doing enough that you become successful because they've given you the blueprint, doing it your own way. So when we look at like the podcast, for an example, like every time that we do a podcast, it's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be a little bit better graphics, it's going to be a little bit better lighting, a little bit better microphones. We might have a better subject matter. We might surprise everybody and have a couple guests or two. But then every time at that 1% better increments, we will be incredible at what we do in the space that we're trying to bring. And I personally, I didn't sleep last night just because I was so excited to get on here and talk to you today.
I agree. I've been fired. I've been fired up.
Yes,
and she upstairs, Brittany, she's like, when are you going to stop talking about this, man? But it's just when you get passionate about something, you get excited. The biggest win's going to be when we have a guest on here who's locally, we shine light on them and then they have a win because of that. I mean, obviously the goal is for us to get more business from people knowing who we are. I want to be really clear about that. It's just, I want people to know I'm here. But when we have those wins for people, they're going to want to reciprocate. And we're all going to become part of a club locally where we help each other. That is the vision here. And I don't see how it can't work if it's just a place for positivity.
Yeah, we're definitely going to keep it positive.
Yeah.
I generally don't. I try not to get too negative on anything in life, but to experience things that would make everything that we're going through very simple. So
Yes.
positivity is that's a very big vibe that we bring. And I think I shared, we have Christian and I had breakfast yesterday at Cracker Barrel. If you could have heard that conversation, that was probably a million view conversation, FYI. But
Yeah, we get into it.
one of the things that we talked about was I like to leave the room and people feel that the spirit was uplifted by me being in the room. And when people tell you that your spirit changes their day, that's the best compliment you could ever
Oh
possibly
my
have.
God. That's what I knew. When we met, I'd see you in the office sometimes, and I'm just like, who's that guy? I'm like, I got to talk. And then when we talked, I'm like, the way that you talk to people is like, you've seen Aladdin.
Yeah.
Like Jafar with the staff and the spinning eyes, and he's just like, uh-huh. He's like, whatever you say. So I'm like, when I meet somebody like that, I'm like, okay, there's stuff to learn here. There's an energy that's contagious. And I have all the time in the world for that.
And I wasn't always that guy. So I was the monkey in Aladdin for the longest time, FYI. And I had a lot of great people in my life. My sister,
Yeah.
who is my greatest asset in the entire world besides my family. And then we had coaches in between that taught me different things at different pinnacle times in my life. Funny story, I used to think I was going to be 50 Cent. I used to really live that lifestyle. And my sister kind of gave me an opportunity, like a part-time opportunity. I got 1 week to work in an insurance office. That 1 week lasted 24 years, 5,000 clients served, a reputation of remarkable customer experience that I don't know anybody.
And still fired up as ever.
Oh, we're still going. We ain't even started.
Right.
We're just beginning. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and that to have that passion that doesn't stop is like a lot of people search their whole lives for that and they don't get it. A lot of people have what's called imposter syndrome. I know that you feel it sometimes when you finally do something that you set out to do and you're like, this doesn't feel like, am I really doing this? You know, and I see a lot of people like that who are finally coming up and doing well. And I say, like, it's time to accept that you are that person. You know, you can do it. Like, just accept it. Look in the mirror and say, this isn't anything crazy. Yeah.
All God can do is show you the vision. You have to step into it and live it. Unfortunately, there's lots of unspoken potential that God showed the vision to, and people never step into the light of because it could be too big or it could be too harsh. Or we're live right now and people are watching what we're doing and we're on cameras and it could be uncomfortable. But to live in your vision and to actually do what's predestined for what you're trying to accomplish. You asked me earlier, like, what's the goal? 100 mil at bust. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And we do that one time, one rep, one episode, one training, one client, one VA at a time.
But it's fun along the way.
I love it.
You don't just think about the goal. Like, it's just every day is fun. That's how I figure out every conversation. When I see your phone call me, when like a partner, or I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I'll pick up the phone and let's go. Like, I just enjoy the partnership with everybody. And I want everybody to feel that way about their job. If you don't, you got to figure it out. People are living in regret. And that's a big motivator for me, is not 20 years from now being like, oh man, I didn't go for it. And as far as people caring about what people think, that goes away. Like,
Oh yeah, I have no interest in that.
who cares?